Arsenal delivered the statement Champions League win Mikel Arteta had demanded as they swept aside Sporting Lisbon 5-1. Arteta wanted his team to prove their European credentials following some underwhelming displays away from home, and the Gunners manager got exactly what he asked for. Goals from Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Magalhaes, Bukayo Saka and Leandro Trossard got their continental campaign back on track in style following the 1-0 defeat at Inter Milan last time out. A memorable victory also ended Sporting's unbeaten start to the season, a streak of 17 wins and 1 draw, the vast majority of which prompted Manchester United to prize away head coach Ruben Amorim. The Gunners had failed to win or score in their 2 away games in the competition so far this season, but they made a blistering start in the Portuguese capital and took the lead after only 7 minutes. Declan Rice fed overlapping fullback Jurrien Timber, who curled a low cross in behind the home defence for Martinelli to finish at the far post. Arsenal doubled their lead in the 20th minute thanks to a glorious ball over the top from Thomas Partey. Saka escaped the clutches of his marker Maximiliano Araujo to beat the offside trap and poke the ball past advancing goalkeeper Franco Israel for Havertz to tap home. It was a scintillating first-half display which completely overshadowed the presence of Viktor Gyökeres in Sporting's attack. The prolific Sweden striker, formerly of Coventry, has been turning the heads of Europe's top clubs with his 24 goals in 17 games this season, including a hat-trick against Manchester City earlier this month. But the only time he got a sniff of a run at goal after an optimistic long ball, he was marshalled out of harm's way by Gabriel. David Raya was forced into one save, tipping a fierce Giovanni Quenda drive over the crossbar. But Arsenal added a third on the stroke of half-time, Gabriel charging in to head Rice's corner into the back of the net. To rub salt in the wound, the Brazilian defender mimicked Gyökeres' hands over his face goal celebration. That may have wound Sporting up as they came out after the interval meaning business, and they pulled one back after Raya tipped Hidemasa Morita's shot behind, with Goncalo Inácio netting at the near post from the corner. Former Tottenham winger Marcus Edwards fired over, as did Gyökeres, with Arsenal temporarily on the back foot. But when Martin Odegaard's darting run into the area was halted by Ousmane Diaman's foul, Saka tucked away the penalty. Substitute Trossard added the 5th with 8 minutes remaining, heading in the rebound after Mikel Merino's shot was saved, and Gyökeres' miserable night was summed up when his late shot crashed back off the post. A seismic evening in the tenure of Mikel Arteta? Perhaps not in terms of the significance of the occasion, but in terms of the quality of the performance, against one of the most informed sides in European football, this was without doubt a powerful and much-needed statement victory. Unquestionably, this trip to Lisbon brought about the finest European away performance under Arteta's management. Against a Sporting team that has destroyed almost every opponent they have faced this season, Arsenal cruised around the pitch with such swagger and class that it might have been an early round tie in the League Cup. 5 goals, scored by 5 different players, and a complete shutdown of Viktor Gyökeres, the monstrous Sporting forward who had struck 32 goals in his previous 23 matches for club and country. Arteta could hardly have asked for more, and there is now a strong sense that his team with Martin Odegaard back in the side are building momentum again. For all their progress in domestic football under Arteta's management, there have not been many memorable European trips for Arsenal in recent years. They had won only one of their previous 7 away matches since returning to the Champions League last season, and had failed to score in each of their past 4 away matches in Europe. Sporting, then, proved to be the punchbag upon which Arsenal could vent the frustration that has built up in European competition. The Portuguese league leaders were deconstructed by the imagination of Odegaard, the power of Gabriel Magalhaes and the sheer relentlessness of Bukayo Saka. Gabriel and Saka were among the scorers for Arsenal, who also found the net through Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz and Leandro Trossard. Mikel Arteta promised to send out a ruthless team to end his poor run of European away days, and how the Arsenal manager delivered. This deserved dismantling of one of Europe's most feared teams was what can best be described as a statement win, and their best under Arteta in the Champions League. Talk here in Lisbon over the past few days was that the club that gave us Cristiano Ronaldo as a player and more recently Ruben Amorim as a coach had never been better and virtually unplayable at home. They came into the match unbeaten and second to only Liverpool in the new format Champions League table, fresh from thrashing Manchester City here last time out. Arsenal scored only their second away win in 8 Champions League trips, aided by 3 first-half goals via Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz and Gabriel. They withstood a second-half comeback goal from Goncalo Inacio, and a 65th-minute Bukayo Saka penalty killed the game off. The size of the win lifts Arsenal from 14th to 8th in the table. With home games against Monaco and Dinamo Zagreb followed by a trip to Girona yet to come, they are on course to avoid the inconvenience of a February playoff and qualify automatically for the last 16 of this season's edition of the competition. Arteta has only an FA Cup to his name to date, but knows the fans and hierarchy demand more to really return Arsenal to the top of the top table. How realistic that is remains to be seen. It is hard to challenge the notion that the Spanish coach has restored the club's relationship with their supporters worldwide and returned the club to the levels they need to be at for the first time since Arsène Wenger left 7 years ago. Regularly challenging for the Premier League title and routinely competing in and emphatically winning on Champions League nights such as these as a matter of course. The transformation is not complete, but it is not far off. Lisbon were rattled by the quality of Arsenal's start, the way they moved the ball so precisely at pace. The decision to go out on the front foot paid off inside the opening 7 minutes when Martinelli put them in front. Jurrien Timber worked himself clear on the right and sent in a tantalizing low right foot cross with a bit of curl that drew the keeper out while also taking the ball away from him. Kai Havertz looked set to cash in but was blocked by defender Diamond, and Martinelli stole in at the far post to score his second goal in as many games. The second goal, after 22 minutes, also came down the right and was also a quality move. In form, Thomas Partey sent Bukayo Saka clear with a chip into the Sporting area, and the England winger prodded the ball through Franco Israel's legs for Havertz to tap in a ball that would probably have gone in anyway. The stunned Sporting supporters responded by letting off a bunch of green and white smoke bombs and flashing fireworks over the head of undeterred Arsenal keeper David Raya. Arsenal continued to look the more dangerous side in the smoke even when Sporting tried to up the pace of their game. As the Portuguese laboured, the Arsenal supporters stationed high up in the Estadio José Alvalade taunted the locals with chants of "We want more fireworks." A warning against complacency for fans and players alike came in the form of a run and shot by Giovanni Quenda, which Raya tipped over the bar just before half-time. Raya snuffed out the danger from the corner too, and moments later was dancing around his area in celebration when Gabriel headed in from a Declan Rice corner with the very last touch of the first half. The Brazil central defender sprinkled some salt on the wounded Lisbonites by celebrating in front of their fans in the style of their Swedish goal-scoring hero Victor Gyökeres. The highly coveted striker, said to be firmly on Arsenal's radar too, touched the ball only 18 times in the first half, 3 of them from kickoffs. Sporting came out like a rocket at the start of the second half as a Heidmars Morita shot earned them a quick corner. Goncalo Inacio scored when the ball was sent back in, and with only 2 minutes of the second period played it was game on all over again. Arsenal diligently slowed the game down and Saka buried his spot kick and any hopes of a comeback after Martin Odegaard was hacked down from behind in the penalty area. Substitute Leandro Trossard's 82nd minute header from the rebound of a Mikel Merino shot prompted an early emptying of the stadium.